Welcome to another video from Gweilo 60. Today I'm going to be talking about why the world can't do what China did. Okay? And this is going to be the main theme of next Saturday's live stream. And this one's a special one, guys. We've got Alex from Reporterfy Media. We've got Alex Absolute for the first 30 minutes of the hour-long show. Then replacing Alex Absolute will be Patrick Freeman, living in China Patrick Freeman, and yours truly, Gweilo 60. And then we've got a new girl on the block. We've got Blondie in China showing up for this episode because Matt from JO Nation couldn't make it this week. So Blondie is stepping in for Matt. She was kind enough to show us some love and help us out with this one, and we appreciate it a lot. The thing is, why can't the West do what China did? And we're not just talking about the CV and how they nipped it in the bud, shut it down, quarantined everybody, stopped it dead in its tracks, and I'm talking about quarantining everybody. They caught me for 14 days. Now in Nanning City, if you come in from outside, you're quarantined in a hotel for 14 days. That ain't it, buddy. Then you got to self-quarantine in your own home for another 14 days. So we're talking 28 days of quarantine when you're coming into Guangxi province, Nanning City. My God, Martha. So say my visa runs out, I got to go to Hong Kong to renew my visa, or do the turnaround, as everybody knows. You got to leave the country, come back in. 14 days in Hong Kong. Then I come back to my home in Guangxi province and another 28 days. So like I'm shut down for 6 weeks. Most visas are only good for 3 or 4 months, so you're spending half your time in quarantine. My God. Anyway, I digress. We're doing this live stream on Saturday morning at 9 a.m. China time. So that, what would that be? 6 o'clock Pacific time, 9 o'clock Atlantic time, 2 o'clock in the morning UK. Look what I got. I got somebody. Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, yeah. Get it all the time. And that's how mean they are to foreigners here after the CV. It's a non-issue here in Nanning, China. But we're not going to just be talking about the CV. I think we're going to be talking about the economics, how they can build a country so quickly, how they can build a country so big and high rises, how they can build the high-speed trains and the highways and all of the infrastructure that goes along with a country with 1.4 billion people. Where do they get the money? How do they do the Belt and Road Initiative? Like, seriously, these guys are making inroads and friends around the world so that they have trading partners all over the place. They're not interested in war. They're not interested in trying to take over other countries. They're interested in financial gain. Yes, like every other Chinese person that you've ever known that has a Chinese restaurant or a business or anything like that. Everybody wants to get richer, and every Chinese person in this country is no different than those Chinese people that you know. They all want to get richer. Money is a religion here in China, and it's one of those things that is really important to them. And the country, the government, is no different. Why is that? Because they're Chinese people, you guys. You got to figure that one out. Okay. So now they're making inroads in Africa and Europe and Russia, South America, you know, through the Solomon Islands, things like that. And then the skies opened up on Gweilo, like seriously. So I had to skedaddle back to my little humble abode here. This is where we keep our bikes. I bought this place about 4 years ago. Like, we had the apartment upstairs for, I don't know, 13 years or so now. But I bought this little place down here off a lady that was selling a one-bedroom apartment upstairs, and she didn't want to sell us with it. So I had to pay 18,000 RMB for a place to stick our bikes. I guess it's not that bad. But you see, the video that we're going to be doing, I'm going to go get underneath this tree. The video that we're going to be doing, or the live stream that we're going to be doing on Saturday, is not going to be very political. So maybe the title is going to throw it off a little bit, and a lot of people are going to show up thinking, oh, this is a political show. No, it's more based on what China did good, and maybe what the rest of the world maybe could learn from China. Everybody's always given China a bad rap, but there's a lot of good things that they do in China, that they get things done, for one thing. They don't have a bunch of parties saying, we don't want this or we want that, or what. Everybody's sort of focused in a positive direction here, and I see it all the time. You've got 1.4 billion people here, guys, and it's like, my God, how do you feed, employ, house, keep healthy, all of these things that China has done that the rest of the world would dream of being able to do? Just the idea of housing 1.4 billion people. I know in Canada we have a hard time housing the 35 million that we have. We've got tent cities, and we've got homeless people on the streets. Even Prince Albert, where I came from, Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, where it gets 40 below in the wintertime. Sure, we have women's shelters and men's shelters and stuff like that, but there's always those people that fall through the cracks. And it's, a lot of it's to do with drug abuse and alcohol abuse, or just mental issues and stuff like that. Where in China, you see very few homeless people. It's really weird. For the population, there are, but if they had 1.4 billion people in Canada, the population of homeless people would be so much larger. So what's China doing that Canada's not? You get the infrastructure that China builds, and it's like amazing. Like, seriously, I've been around here for 17 years. I cannot believe the infrastructure that these people have built in the last 17 years. When I came to Nanning, there was very few high-rises. There were some, but now they're friggin' everywhere. Everybody's got their fingers in the pie of real estate. I think one of the reasons is there's really no place else to invest in China. The stock market's sort of a new thing. People don't really know what it's all about. I'm not going to say don't trust it, but see, even the stock market in the States and places like that, I think it's just like gambling, so I try to stay away from it as much as I possibly can. I have dabbled in it a little bit, but never to an extent that I would lose a lot of money. But you see, in China, so they invest in housing, they invest in future housing, they speculate on the market. And maybe this is why they can build so many high-rises so quickly, because that's where people are putting their money. A lot of the people put their money in banks. Chinese are savers. So when you get something like the CV hitting, well, people can take a month off. They can shut their shops down for a month or two. And sure, it's a financial hit on them. Where in the West, people aren't savers. Like, until I met Weifang, I wasn't a saver either. So there's all of these different reasons why China can do what it does. And it's not all malicious. It's not all about this government versus that government, this mentality from this country versus this mentality from this other country. It doesn't always have to be an us against them type of scenario. There's a lot of good things that happens in the States. There's a lot of good things that happen in Canada and Australia and Zimbabwe and South Africa, and you name it, around the world. They all have their good and their bad in each country. But it seems like China is one of those places that can get things done, and get things done now and in a big scale. So why can China do things like this and the rest of the world can't? And I think that's basically what the theme of this Saturday morning live is going to be. And I think it's going to be good because, as I say, we've got people from all around the world, all foreigners, mind you, but they'll bring their understanding of this subject to the table. And I think it's going to be one of those things that, because you got to understand, we got two new guys, one new guy, Patrick Freeman, and one new girl, Amy, Blondie in China. So it's going to bring sort of a new twist to this weekend, and I think it's going to be entertaining. I think it's going to open some eyes, and I think it's going to show you what better China is, why China is growing at the rate it is, and maybe it's going to get into some of the things about why the rest of the world isn't growing as well as it should, or maybe they could take a page out of the playbook of the Chinese way of doing things. It's because this is an amazing country, and we want to tell you what we know about this country, China. So tune in Saturday morning. You got to be there, 9 o'clock China time, guys. Put it on your calendar. If you're in the UK, 2 o'clock in the morning, set your alarm clock. We'll see you there. There's another video from Gweilo 60. If you like this video, as always, like, comment, subscribe, push that share button, and thanks for watching. Hit the bell, make a comment, and never forget to put a couple of bucks on the children's Patreon account. It's for a good cause. Poor rural Chinese children. These kids only need a helping hand, and we can give it to them. They can accomplish so much in their lives if they're just, you know, pushed in the right direction. So dig down deep, help out. Thanks for watching. Bye now.